This is a topic that comes up frequently and I wanted to revisit it. When do you introduce your girlfriend to your children? So before we get to that, we have to start with what are kind of your dating timelines. First and foremost, you have to be ready to date. You have to have healed most of the way from the trauma of the divorce or the end of the relationship. Just running into another relationship, if you haven't done any introspection, if you haven't done any healing, it's not going to end well. Okay, so let's assume you're ready to date. You should date non-exclusively for 6 months. Date 2 to 3 women. Be upfront. You're not dating exclusively. You're just getting back into this. And again, you're not looking to date tons of women. You're looking to be able to compare, though. After dating a woman 6 months non-exclusively, if you end up with somebody who's a little bit special, you really are connecting with, and you want to date them exclusively, great. Then after you date them 6 months exclusively, then, and really the way I see it is only then, do you consider introducing her to your children. If you have 50-50 joint shared custody, they should know she exists, okay? And conversely, if a woman wants to introduce you to her kids rather rapidly, that's a red flag. Huge red flag. That shows she doesn't have good boundaries. Doesn't mean she can't be your friends with benefits, but it should pretty much eliminate her from long-term dating potential. Okay? So let's say you get to that 1 year point, and then what? Well, after you date 2 to 3 years, you can look at living together. And then after living together for a year, getting married. Now, I have a lot of men go, oh, that's not right to date multiple women. No, you're just being a nice guy who doesn't understand there's nothing wrong with it unless you're misrepresenting it or not telling them that you're non-exclusive. Okay? And the reality is, if you've been divorced, you shouldn't be in a rush. Okay? She may want to move things along. That's another red flag. If she's like, oh, we got to move in together. You've been dating less than a year, that relationship's not going to go anywhere. But the issue and what we're covering in this video is we don't want to have your kids have somebody else in their life that then leaves. It's very traumatic, and it doesn't matter what your ex is doing. I hear a lot of men where their ex brings a new man into their kid's life rather rapidly, okay? And sometimes they cycle through, oh, he's the one. 3 months later, there's another, oh, he's the one. It's doing a lot of damage to the kids. Don't be copying that. And you can't control her, but you can have your boundaries and you can do the right thing by your children, and it'll pay dividends in the long run. Heck, I even know a case where it isn't even but a year and she's getting married. Kids barely know the guy. Again, not healthy, way too soon. Believe me, I've made that mistake, young and dumb. First date to marriage combined, my previous two, was less than the time I've dated Melanie. Melanie and I are getting married this weekend, and we have been dating for over 4 years. I've followed my own guidelines. I was non-exclusive for 6 months. Exclusive. Dated for two plus years. Let's see, we were together 4+ years. I think we were 3 years, and then she moved in. And like I tell all men, and then we signed a prenup, which was a requirement for marriage, and we are getting married this weekend. But had I had small kids in the house, they wouldn't have met her for well over a year. In fact, my kids only met one other girlfriend, and it was in a group setting and wasn't necessarily my girlfriend, just a friend. I made it a point to keep those two worlds separate, and I highly recommend you do, unless you've been dating her for a year or more, gotten to see her in all different phases. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below, but there'll be contact information below. And let me know what your thoughts are. All right, brother? Talk to you later.